Dealing with fears, keeping the pressure on the light worker. Me, yay. Pain took a day off today. I had a day where I only almost started crying once. That made me remember that the reason I started stuffing down my emotions when I was a teenager was because I felt that if I didn't, I'd be fated to walking around bawling my eyes out constantly, and of course I didn't want that. I wanted to look strong. Well, being able to feel anything, especially the vibration of the entirety of this world's people in one body, emphasis, is being strong. For you other empaths and the indigos, my hat goes off to you, and I realize what you're going through, especially now. You came here to clean up the lush. That means you clear out the food of the dark ones before they get a chance to feast on it, but unless you consciously transmute energies, you are fated to expressing them. Don't think all that negativity is you, it's not. It's you clearing up this earth's negativity. You're taking the food off the devil's plate and re-energizing it. We're in a gate right now, 10/10, so maybe the higher energies will abate within the next couple days. Ivo, I've got a question for you. I've got another one that I've got to deal with, and will doing service help me with this? Ivo, not with the ex-tenant who is still using your mailbox for his government checks. My advice to you, my love, is not to follow the direction of the police and do not aggravate this man. If he comes to use your mailbox, let him. The police will not be there to help you if he becomes violent because you have an objection to his using the mailbox for his own purposes. The best thing to do is not to aggravate this man as he is violent, as you know, and to simply leave quietly next year. Me, this place just keeps on coming up with problems. My life has been problematic, to be sure, but this place is the piece de resistance. I'm no stranger to violent men, but I don't plan on being beat up by an ex-tenant, one my landlord chose to live here, not me. I'm tired of being a victim of my landlord's poor choices in tenants, and so it's time to go. I won't be here next spring. Ivo, no, my dear. It is time to go. Me, if any Americans want to see what the ghetto looks like in a socialist country like Canada, just Google map Cornwall, Ontario. That's our ghetto. It's no fun living here, to be sure. Now, what about doing more service, Ivo? How can I be of more service? Given my limitations, how can I root myself further in my higher self's boots, rather than being pulled back constantly into fearing for my life again, or having to deal with low vibrational egos? Ivo, and the answer to that is, to lose all fear. Do not fear this man-child. Do not fear his attack on you. Then you will not energize it. You must look carefully at what you still fear and overcome these fears. Me, how do you figure out what you fear when you've probably been denying it in some way or hiding it from yourself for so long you have no idea? Ivo, you ask your higher self to show you where your fears are. She will do so. You ask for help in dealing with them. What is more, understand that interactions you have with others where you react strongly is your fear showing. If you have no fear, interactions will go well. If you have fear, you will have problems or challenges. That is the simplest answer. Me, okay, so there's an alcoholic who lives in the apartment behind me. I reacted to him one day when he, yet again, asked me to do canning or bake cookies for him. I know that I don't want to get involved with someone who's like him because these people don't take care of themselves. They find responsible people and begin to mooch off of them. Glenn taught me that one. What they really want is your money. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. First they're so grateful, and then they become abusive and violent as soon as they figure they've got you where they want you. Lived that for 3 years. No thank you. Ivo, and that is your fear, of abusive, violent men who take advantage of you. Me, who wouldn't fear them? Ivo, when you fear them, you attract them. And as for your neighbor next door, although he is in a relationship, and you are in a relationship with me, he was still attempting to have sex with you. You believe that he is only trying to prop his own flagging ego up, and he is. He is an energy vampire as well as the alcoholic. And so you find you attract men who want to take advantage of you. You have all your life. But you fear this, so you add your energy into it. Set boundaries coming from a place of self-love, not fear. That is the goal. Another situation that you are in that you have not mentioned indicates that you are afraid of crazy people. People who are imbalanced. This you got from your parents. Me, yes. Stands to reason. Ivo, on top of a general fear of negativity. This you would have garnered as a result of having a split soul. And then having to heal yourself of it. You did this throughout your life and now are heavily defended from experiencing it again. Me, not all of them. Ivo, what I am saying is, instead of fearing specific situations or types of people, you fear the non-ascended male and you fear people who are emotionally imbalanced. You must make your peace with the non-ascended male, the third-dimensional man who has dominated the world and your life at times. All of the divine feminine must do so. And the divine masculines must forgive their unascended selves of their indiscretions while transmuting them to a better version of self. It can be a lot of work. My love, there are two things men have wanted from you, and that is sex and money. Otherwise, they have had no use for you. This is because these men were there to show you how powerful you really are, and the same can be said for now. What are these men showing you? You must begin to look at the positives in order to know yourself better. Any woman who can put up with a man like Glenn for 3 years is a strong woman. You are adaptable, flexible, and patient, perhaps beyond reason. My dear, do you ever give yourself credit for these things? Me, no. Never. A smarter one would get the hell out of here. Maybe they're showing me how stupid I am. Ivo, and there you have it. Your tendency to attack yourself when you attract a lesson. You have always done that. Me, I still wanted to talk about doing more service. Ivo, we can discuss this in another video. You have relabeled this one to dealing with fears. Because you must root out all fears and deal with them. When you remain afraid of the unascended male, the third-dimensional male, you relinquish your power to them. The fact that you attract them shows you are connected in some way to them. What you must do is start typing. Use a journal and type all your feelings out about these situations. It is important that you get clear where your fears lie and to release all the energy you have built up around them. Maybe it shows that they're as common as crabgrass is to the side of the road. Ivo, they are, my love, but if you did not have something to learn, you would not attract them. You would be left alone. That is my point. You would have peace. Me, okay, I see. Ivo, you fear being dominated by these men, so you put up walls. When they approach you, you wall them out. Or you play with them for a while and then drop them. You must be honest. Me, I wasn't flirting. I seriously did think we connected for a while and then his ego came back with its little let's have sex game. Maybe he thought he was reeling me in by listening to me. I can smell insincerity a mile away. Ivo, he was. And you must put these senses to better use. You must realize that when it comes to these men, there is no point. Leave them alone. The dark will keep sending you energy vampires. You are an indigo and they desperately wish to lower your frequency. With a lower frequency, you cannot transmute what you can when your frequency is higher, and so they have done all they can to make you unhealthy, and to aggravate you with everyone around you playing up to nonsense. You are not of this world. That is apparent. But you must let your fears go. Perhaps the other thing you must realize about these things is that you create problems. Your fears create problems. This ex-tenant is not being a problem. Do not allow your fear to create any. Let him go in peace. You are afraid of the same thing happening as happened when you were 19 and your ex-brother-in-law showed up, trying to break into your sister's house. You have buried that fear. Me, I ran for the butcher's knife. I would have used it. Ivo, and this is still in your psyche. Do you see why you began overeating so much at that point in your life? You were getting a good idea of what you would be attracting after living with your parents for 19 years. Your sister was already beginning to do the same. Me, true. Violent men. Ivo, my dear, you have been thrown from the fire into the frying pan so many times you have not had opportunity to work through many of your fears. When you left Glenn, you moved to a woman's home who was malicious and manipulative towards you, and who created chaos in the building. You did not have much time to grieve Glenn, especially when this woman insisted there be no crying in the house. You did not have a counselor to speak to, and you really needed someone like that, but there was nobody to speak to. Your chronic fatigue began then in earnest. It did not help there were men in black visits and dues attacks at that time. You have simply never been able to rid yourself of old fears. So they continue to haunt you, and you continue to recreate them. Sheran is not the only one like this. There are many of you who run from situation to situation, sometimes getting worse, sometimes better. But there is little chance of complete healing for you. Do not think the dark ones do not know this. They keep the pressure on you. Me, you're not kidding. Okay, I'll start a document and talk about these old things still lurking in my energy field. Ivo, the dark cannot attack you when you have nothing they can deal with. They only can attach to you through fear. When you are fearless, you will not experience any attacks or have to deal with any of these people any longer. Me, thanks, Ivo. Ivo, I realize it is not pleasant writing about the time you held a butcher's knife as a threat to your brother-in-law, but you must rid yourself of your fear of violence. When you do not harbor the fear, violence leaves your life. You stop attracting violence.